Hi, this is Katie Johnson, and this video is being filmed as a part of a series on things that you can do with ribbon. Now, the techniques I'm going to show you for the particular cards that I'm going to show you are designed because of the ribbon that I'm using, but the technique I'm going to show you, you can use with any ribbon. So for this card, I wanted a large circle, and I went with my layering circles dies, which I better put away. Particular ribbon I'm using on this one, I wanted to show off this beautiful scalloped ribbon. It's scalloped linen ribbon, so it's got that linen look in the middle, and then it's got a scalloped woven edge on the outside. This is Pretty Peacock, so I'm using a Pretty Peacock base. And then this is part of a combo pack, and it is some braided copper ribbon. So these things, this is the point, this is the technique that can work with any ribbons. Play around with your ribbon and the sizing, and see which ones kind of go together. Now this is skinny enough that it's going to let a little bit of that linen peek out from behind it, as well as show off the Pretty Peacock. And something like this is pretty enough that it can be a main element on the card instead of using a designer paper strip or a colored cardstock strip. So that is the technique, and let me just finish assembling this card. The first step will be to adhere the two ribbons. I don't want to get sticky on my base, therefore I'm going to use my silicone craft mat. So now I have sticky on the ribbon and not on my base layer of paper. Just look how pretty those two look layered on top of each other. Now I'm going to adhere ribbon to the back so it will stick to my copper sheet. Next, I want to stamp my tree. I'm going to put this on the copper sheet first and then put the ribbon on after. So now I need my banner. So I'm going to use this as my sentiment. I'm going to be stamping it in black on this thin little piece of paper. You see what I'm doing? A punch like this, one that has several different depths to it, it's pretty easy for that piece of paper to get itself off center, and so I always look from the bottom just to make sure that it looks symmetrical. I gave myself some extra length here because I'm going to add a little bit of dimension to the sentiment before it goes on. Do the same thing that you saw me do if you've been watching. I showed this trick in a previous video, but I'm going to show it to you again. I want to get it centered and make sure that the sentiment is actually level and parallel with the edges of the paper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp on my silicone craft mat, because the silicone craft mat is translucent. In other words, I can see through it. I'm going to hold it in place with a magnet. I think I have it on there. And then I'm going to place my piece of paper underneath it, and now I can see whether or not that paper is aligned for it to be parallel with the edges, and I can adjust it a little bit if I feel that I need to. If I don't think I've got it centered, I can play around with it because I can see exactly where it's going to go on that little piece of paper. All right, then I can go ahead and hold that piece of paper in position and ink it up. All right, my plan for this is to create a banner. This is my cutting blade. This is my scoring blade. So I've just made two little score lines because now I can put a little bit of a Z into it like that. Do the same thing on the other side. I'm not being very careful. If I was very concerned, I could measure it and make sure that I was totally symmetrical on both sides. So now what I can do is I can put a little bit of adhesive on the ends. And then to make sure that it's standing up, I can put some dimensionals on the inside. All right, now we're just going to finish it off with some rhinestones. So there is another way that you can use ribbon. Once again, this design, this layout would look fine with a piece of paper there, but if you've got pretty ribbon that goes together nicely, you could use ribbon as your layer instead. This is part of a series I'm doing on different ways that you can dress up a project with ribbon. If you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, be sure and do that. If you're watching on Facebook, then make sure that you like and follow the page.